I'm Dr. Ho. Teach TESOL like a pro. Today's topic: Krashen's monitor model. 5 fancy hypotheses that basically explain why your students understand next flow and chill before they can spell grammar. Stephen Krashen, a linguistic researcher and the rock star of second language acquisition, changed how the world thinks about learning English. His theory became the foundation of modern TESOL, shaping everything from communicative classrooms to input-based learning. Krashen believed language learning isn't about studying rules. On the contrary, it's about soaking in enough meaningful input and letting the brain do its thing. So we are talking about brain magic, not grammar trauma? Exactly. Krashen's theory shows why some students start chatting effortlessly after watching K-dramas. 언니, 오빠, 사랑해요, while others died inside every time they open a grammar book. Here's the first one, the natural order hypothesis. We all acquire grammar rules in a predictable sequence. You can't expect students to learn the past perfect before they even master the simple past. Like trying to teach someone to play Beethoven before they can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Exactly, language acquisition is developmental, not downloadable. Even the best TESOL teachers can't reprogram the human brain's learning sequence. Hence, instead of forcing grammar order, we should focus on providing meaningful input to scaffold their learning, helping students build language ability step by step and letting structure emerge naturally. Then there's acquisition versus learning. Acquisition is subconscious. You pick up language naturally through real communication. 自然而然学会两种语言. For example, EFL, ESL students who scroll through TikToks every day might suddenly start saying break a leg or spell the T without realizing they have learned it. Learning is subconscious. You memorize grammar rules and verb charts because your teacher tells you to. So acquisition is like learning English by using it, and learning is like memorizing it for a test. That's right. One builds fluency, the other builds test anxiety. Think of this way: if your students naturally pick up cafe expressions from daily life, can walk into Starbucks to order a coffee by themselves, that's acquisition. But if they ace every grammar quiz and still freeze when an Aussie says, "Good day, mate," or "How is today?" that's learning. Got it. So fluency comes from acquisition, not from memorizing every grammar rule while panicking before midterms. Now the most famous one, the input hypothesis. We acquire language when we understand messages that are just a bit beyond our current level, which is what Krashen calls I+1. I refers to what learners already know, and +1 is the next step they can reach with a little support. Those is like when you played a video game that's just hard enough to keep you alive, not one that wipes you out in 3 seconds. You can say that. That's the idea of comprehensible input. Language that's understandable through context. If the input is too difficult, students don't learn. They just shut down. For instance, imagine teaching the word zebra. You show a picture, say this is a zebra. It has black and white stripes, and even echo out the sound. Students understand it without translation. That's comprehensible input in action. Teacher can provide comprehensible input through visuals, gestures, slower speech, and real-world objects, known as realia. That's how acquisition happens, not through endless verb drills that make students sleepwalk whispering, "Give up, gave up, given up." Next up, the affective filter hypothesis. Our emotions can either help or block language input. Anxiety, low confidence, or fear of making mistakes raise the filter, while motivation and relaxation lower it. Basically, when you feel judged in class, your brain goes, "No English today." Sad but true. That's why we need a safe, fun, and supportive classroom for risk-taking, a space where students can mess up without feeling embarrassed. For example, imagine a shy student accidentally says, "The window is dirty," and someone giggles. Her affective filter shoots up, and next time she'd rather stare at the floor than speak. But if the teacher smiles, nods, and gently says, "That's right, we should wipe the window to make it clean," the filter drops. That's when real communication starts to flow. No one ever learned a language while worrying about losing points for participation. Finally, the monitor hypothesis. See this diagram? It may look like a NASA flowchart, but let's break it down. After comprehensible input makes it through the affective filter, it gets processed by our language acquisition device. Yes, that's ALD, not BAD, and becomes acquired knowledge. This is the stuff we actually use when we speak fluently. But wait, what about grammar rules? That's where the monitor comes in. Oh, grammar please? No doubt, the monitor is your learned knowledge, which is the grammar you studied in textbooks. It doesn't speak for you. It just sits in the corner with a clipboard, correcting your sentence if you have enough time, you are focused, and you actually know the rule. I see. So, your grammar checker only shows up if you're chill and not freaking out? Pretty much. If you're standing in front of the class and suddenly think, wait, is it was or were I supposed to say? You'll probably forget the next sentence, your main point, and where you put your notes. In real communication, fluency beats perfection. The monitor is useful when you are revising an essay, not when you are trying to order bubble tea. Excuse me, if this milk tea have pro or has pros? Never mind, I would just point. You got it. The goal isn't flawless grammar, it's communication that flows. Teaching implications. How does Krashen's model shape TESOL teaching? It means less minor error correction, more comprehensible input. Less memorizing rules, more listening and reading with meaning. Less test fear, more confidence and interaction. That is to say, we turn don't talk unless you're perfect into talk first, perfect later. Bingo! That's how fluency actually happens. Teachers' roles. Provide rich, meaningful input that is just slightly above the learner's current level, I+1, to scaffold their understanding. This can include flashcards, pictures, video clips, body language, and realia. Lower the affective filter by creating a relaxed, supportive classroom where students feel safe to make mistakes while using English. Build on learners' grammatical knowledge in ways that correspond to their natural developmental stages. Aid as a facilitator of interaction, not just a corrector. Learners' role: actively engage in acquiring language and interpreting meaning. Focus on understanding and expression meaning, not perfect accuracy. Take communication risks without fear of mistakes. Listen, read, speak, and write in ways that feel natural and purposeful. Trust their brain to acquire language through input. Krashen's monitor model reminds us, language isn't built by rules alone. It's built by meaning, emotion, and human connection. Therefore, next time you teach, don't just explain grammar. Make input comprehensible, keep the classroom fun, cozy, and full of curiosity, and let acquisition do its job. Because fluency isn't born in drills. It's born in loud peer work, question cards flying everywhere, and saying, I go to the store like it's totally fine. Exactly. That's language learning at its most human. How do you apply Krashen's ideas in your own classroom? I would love to hear your take.